Welcome back to the deep dive. You are listening to Data Designed with Mockup. And folks, the energy in the studio is just, well, it's different today.
It really is.
We are continuously exploring that messy, beautiful, sometimes chaotic collision of data, design, and management. And today marks a pretty massive milestone for us. This is episode 6.
Episode 6, wow.
Ah.
It feels like we just started, but looking at the docket today, it feels like we are finally tackling the elephant in the room.
We really are. But before we get into the nuts and bolts, I want everyone listening to just pause for a second, look at your calendar. It is February 11th, 2026.
Right.
And if you're listening to this, you are navigating a business landscape that has fundamentally changed. We aren't just, flirting with artificial intelligence anymore.
No, not at all.
The cool demo phase,
Yeah.
that is over. We are firmly in the how do we actually survive and operate with this thing phase.
That's the reality. The experimental safety wheels are off. The market isn't rewarding novelty anymore. It's rewarding integration.
Exactly. And so today we're unpacking a survival guide. The title on the research packet is Future-Proofing Success, the Essential AI Project Management Guide. We are going to break down the tools that are defining 2026.
The software that is pretty much deciding who wins and who loses in the corporate world right now.
And survival isn't hyperbole here, is it?
Not even a little bit.
Right.
If you look at the source material we're diving into, specifically the industry analysis for this year, 2026, the context has totally shifted. 3 years ago, AI and project management was a novelty.
A fun plug-in, yeah. Something you showed your boss to look smart.
Exactly. Today,
Yeah.
it is the backbone. If you don't have it, you have a broken spine.
That's a great analogy, even if it is a little terrifying. Okay, let's ground this in some hard numbers because I found one statistic in the research that made me do a double take.
I think I know which one you're talking about.
We are seeing adoption rates that they don't make sense for normal enterprise software. Usually corporate adoption moves at like a glacial pace.
You're looking at that 70% figure, aren't you?
I am. 70% of project professionals are now actively using AI in their daily workflows. And you have to compare that to just 2 years ago.
2 years ago, it was barely 36%. We have witnessed a doubling of adoption in, 24 months?
It's incredible.
In the world of enterprise software, where it usually takes a decade just to change a legacy email system, that kind of velocity is.
Yeah.
It's just unprecedented.
So why the sprint? Usually you have the Department of No and IT blocking everything. Why did the floodgates open so fast?
It comes down to the nature of the usage. And this is the crucial nuance in the data. 2 years ago, if you were a project manager using AI, what were you really doing with it?
Automating the boring stuff.
You were automating the boring stuff. Write this email, schedule this recurring meeting, transcribe this call. It was all just administrative hygiene.
Right, getting rid of the grunt work so you can maybe go home on time. It was about convenience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But the sources for 2026 indicate a total shift. We've moved from automation to prediction. Companies aren't adopting this tech to save 5 minutes on an email anymore.
So what are they doing it for?
For agility. The data shows this massive spike in things like predictive forecasting and real-time visibility.
Okay, define predictive forecasting for us in this context. Is that just a fancy way of, guessing when a project is going to be done?
It's the opposite of guessing. It's using advanced analytics to run thousands of scenarios instantly. In 2026, if you can't make a decision instantly based on data, you are already behind.
So it's about sustaining a competitive advantage.
It's about looking at a project roadmap and knowing with mathematical certainty where the cliffs are. It's not just about doing tasks faster, it's about making decisions faster.
So it's less robot fetch me coffee and more robot tell me if this project is going to bankrupt us in Q3.
Precisely. We have moved from execution support, helping you do the work, to strategic support, helping you decide what work to do in the first place.
I want to push back on that a little bit, though. Strategic support. I mean, I like to think I'm pretty good at strategy. I've been managing projects for years. I'm good at estimating tasks.
Of course.
So why is an algorithm actually better than a seasoned project manager at saying how long a software build will take?
Well, we all like to think we're rational, don't we? But the research points to a very specific, hardwired human flaw. Cognitive bias. Specifically, the planning fallacy.
The old, I can definitely write that entire report in 1 hour bias. I know it well.
We all do. It's usually the optimism bias. We just assume the happy path. Nobody will get sick, the server won't crash, the API docs will be accurate.
The client won't change their mind on a Friday afternoon.
That sounds like a dream world you're living in.
I know, right?
But it is. And on the flip side, If you've been burned recently, you swing the other way into pessimism bias. You pad the schedule so much that your bid becomes uncompetitive and you lose the contract. Humans just struggle to interpret complex, conflicting variables objectively. We are emotional creatures trying to do math.
And I guess the AI doesn't have an ego. It doesn't care if the boss wants to hear good news.
It's indifferent to your feelings. The AI evaluates massive volumes of historical data. It looks at the last 50 times your team tried to deploy a feature like this one.
Okay.
It sees how long it actually took, not how long you said it would take, and it gives you a prediction based on that reality. It removes all the psychological baggage from the estimation process.
That is incredibly powerful. So it's looking at historical data analysis to give you accurate deadlines. But the sources also mention risk detection as a separate category. How is that different from just scheduling?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. The AI isn't just counting hours anymore. It's looking for patterns of failure. The source material calls it recollecting prior outcomes.
Give me a concrete example. How does a piece of software spot a risk that I, as a human, might miss?
Okay, so imagine you have a specific developer, let's call him Dave, and a specific designer, Sarah. Great people, both of them. But the AI notices a hidden pattern.
What kind of pattern?
It sees that every single time Dave and Sarah are on a project together with a deadline under 2 weeks, the defect rate spikes by 15%. A human manager might completely miss that correlation because it's buried in years of data across dozens of projects.
But the AI flags it.
It flags it before you even assign the task.
Oh, wow. It's like having a project historian who remembers every single mistake you've ever made.
A relentless historian, yes.
Right.
And that leads directly to optimized scheduling. It connects those data points to allocate team members more efficiently. It stops you from setting your team up to fail.
And on the client side,
Yeah.
because if I'm a client, I don't really care about Dave and Sarah. I just want to know when I get my product.
And that's the payoff. The AI helps you create realistic proposals. The client gets a clear completion date based on probability, not on hope. It aligns expectations, which is, usually where projects fall apart in the first place.
Okay, so we've got the math. We have the predictions, the schedules, the risk assessments. But here is the kicker, and this is why I love that our series is called Data Design with Mockup. You have to communicate that reality.
Yes.
You can have the smartest algorithm in the world, but if the stakeholders don't understand what you're building or if they can't visualize the data you're promising, you are toast.
That is the visualization challenge.
Yeah.
And in 2026, the ability to visualize the outcome is just as critical as the ability to calculate the schedule.
Which brings us to the first tool we absolutely need to spotlight. The source material lists the top tools for 2026, and right at the top under visualization and prototyping is mockup.ai.
It's a standout choice, especially for the audience of this deep dive, project managers, data analysts, developers.
Now, for those who haven't used it, mockup.ai is a cloud-based wireframing tool. But I want to be really clear, why is a wireframing tool in an AI project management guide? Usually wireframing is for designers, right?
That's a common misconception, and frankly, it's a dangerous one. Think about the biggest friction point in the initial phase of any data-heavy project. You need to build a dashboard for a client.
Right.
And usually a project manager describes it vaguely to a developer. I need a sales chart here and maybe a regional breakdown there.
The developer builds it, weeks pass, the PM sees it and says, no, that's not what I meant.
The classic, I'll know it when I see it problem. That kills budgets.
It destroys them, and it destroys morale.
And that's the problem mockup.ai solves. It closes that ambiguity gap with its AI capability. The feature that everyone is talking about and what puts it on this list for 2026 is the text-to-wireframe generation.
Wait. So I can just type sales dashboard for Q1 with a regional breakdown and a KPI ticker, and it just generates the layout.
Yes. That is the magic feature the source highlights. It visualizes the requirement instantly. You aren't dragging and dropping boxes for 3 hours or staring at a blank canvas. You prompt it, you get a visual, and you show the stakeholder immediately. Is this what you meant?
That seems like it fundamentally changes the role of the project manager in that early phase. You aren't just taking notes anymore.
You're prototyping. Exactly. You are moving from requirements gathering to requirements designing. And crucially, looking at the specs here, it integrates with the actual workflow tools. You could export these wireframes directly to Tableau and Power BI.
Correct. And that is huge for efficiency. It bridges that communication gap. Instead of some vague Jira ticket, PMs can show developers exactly what the final data product needs to look like.
It ensures everyone is on the same page about the data visualization ideas before a single line of code is even written.
Think about the time saved.
Oh, for sure. If you get the wireframe approved right there in the meeting because you generated it on the spot with AI, you have potentially saved 3 weeks of back and forth email chains.
So it's distinct from just managing tasks like checkbox A. It's about designing the presentation of the data itself.
It's about the architecture of the information. If you don't get the design of the data right, all the project management behind it doesn't matter because you're building the wrong house.
I love that distinction. Okay, so mockup handles the vision and the design of the dashboard, but we have a whole toolkit to get through here. The source material breaks down the top tools of 2026. Instead of just listing them, I want to group them because I think they serve different masters or different types of teams.
That makes sense. Different teams have different DNA. A software team doesn't work like a marketing team, and their tools should reflect that.
Let's start with the engineering and agile powerhouses. If you are building software in 2026, where are you living?
You are likely living in one of two camps, Linear or Jira.
Linear has been gaining so much ground lately, it really feels like the cool kid at the table.
It has. Linear focuses heavily on speed and minimalism. If you talk to developers, they love it because it just gets out of the way.
Yeah.
In 2026, their AI features are designed to auto-triage issues.
Auto-triage, what did that look like practically?
It means the AI reads the bug report or the user feedback, categorizes it, assigns a priority, and even predicts delivery delays based on the complexity.
So for sprint planning.
For sprint planning, it's incredible because it tells you, hey, based on your team's current velocity, you physically cannot make this release date. It stops you from overcommitting.
And Jira, I mean, that's the industry standard, right? The Goliath.
It is the giant,
Yeah.
and it's deeply integrated with the whole Atlassian suite. Its AI is doing the heavy lifting on backlog prioritization. So if you have a massive backlog of 2,000 bugs, which a lot of enterprise companies do, Jira's AI helps sort out what actually matters versus what's just noise.
Finding the needle in the haystack.
That's the idea.
Okay, so that's for the coders. What about the people who just need to keep their chaotic lives organized, the all-in-one workspaces?
That would be Notion and ClickUp.
Notion is basically my second brain at this point. I just dump everything in there.
You are not alone. Notion combines wikis, docs, and tasks. But the 2026 AI update mentioned in the source is really cool. It turns your notes into tasks automatically.
Explain that workflow for me.
So you're in a meeting, you're typing messy notes, maybe barely keeping up. Notion AI scans that text, pulls out the action items, assigns them to people, and summarizes the key decisions.
So it turns unstructured thought into structured work.
Exactly. It saves so much admin time. It basically kills that post-meeting slump where you have to organize everything.
And ClickUp, how is it different?
ClickUp takes the single platform approach, chat, docs, time tracking all in one. Their AI similarly summarizes notes, but goes a step further by organizing workflows based on project needs. It really tries to be the operating system for your work. It wants to keep you in one tab.
Okay, moving on to the heavy lifters, the planners and schedulers. These are for the people who love a good Gantt chart and a dependency line.
Right. Here we're talking about Motion, Monday.com, and Asana.
Motion is interesting because it claims to automate the actual planning, right? Like what schedules your day for you.
Yes, Motion is aggressive. It uses AI to allocate tasks into the white space of your calendar. It monitors your progress and reshuffles your day if you fall behind.
So it tells you what to do next.
It basically tells you what to do next based on your priorities.
I feel like I need that. I need a boss that lives in my computer and tells me to stop procrastinating.
It's very effective for that. Monday.com, on the other hand, has expanded a lot into workflow automation and risk alerts. It can generate entire project plans with just minimal setup. And then you have Asana with Asana Intelligence.
Asana Intelligence sounds intense. What's the unique selling point there?
It is focused on identifying roadblocks. It watches how work flows through your team and recommends improvements. It might say, hey, every time a task reaches the legal review stage, it sits for 4 days, you have a bottleneck.
Ah, so it diagnoses the process, not just the project.
Precisely. It's like a consultant that watches your team 24/7.
Smart. Okay, last group. The strategists. The money and goals people.
This is where Forecast and Ihansa come in.
Forecast sounds pretty self-explanatory.
It does what it says. It uses machine learning specifically to keep projects under budget. It optimizes resource allocation. If you run an agency or a consultancy where time is literally money and every billable hour counts,
This is the tool.
this is the tool.
Yeah.
It predicts the burn rate of a project.
That is critical. So you can see if you're going to bleed money 3 months before it actually happens. And Ihansa, I'm less familiar with that one.
IONS is designed for goal-driven teams. It connects the big company goals, the OKRs, all the way down to the daily tasks.
So it helps you answer the question.
Is what I'm doing today actually helping the company succeed?
Hmm.
It surfaces priorities based on strategy, not just urgency.
That is a killer lineup of tools. You've got Mockup for the vision and the dashboard wireframing, Linear for the build, Notion for the brain, Motion for the schedule, and Forecast for the wallet. But here's the problem. I'm listening to this and I'm overwhelmed. There are too many options. How do I possibly choose without spending 6 months testing software?
It's the paradox of choice. But the source material provides a really solid how-to guide for selection. And it starts with a ruthless needs assessment.
Which means what, practically?
It means you have to be honest about what you do. Do you need task automation, predictive analytics, resource optimization? A creative agency that's wireframing dashboards in Mockup has totally different needs than a software dev team crunching bugs in Linear.
Don't buy a Ferrari if you need a pickup truck.
Exactly. Don't chase the shiny object. Then you have to think about the team itself. User experience is paramount.
The tool has to be intuitive.
It has to be. We've all seen expensive software fail because the team just refused to use it because it was clunky. If adoption fails, the AI is useless. It has no data to learn from.
Right. Garbage in, garbage out, or in this case, nothing in, nothing out.
Exactly. If the team hates the tool, the algorithm starves. Then there is security and compliance. Not sexy, but essential.
Oh, the fun stuff. But necessary, for sure.
You're feeding this AI-sensitive project, info budgets, trade secrets, personnel data. You have to know it's secure. And finally, vendor support. Are there training resources? Because this is all new. Your team will have questions.
And I assume cost comes into play somewhere.
Always. But you need a cost-benefit analysis, specifically on efficiency. Weigh the price model against the time saved. If a tool costs $50 a month per user, but it saves your senior engineer 10 hours of triage time.
That tool pays for itself before lunch on the first day.
That's the math we need to be doing. It's not about the sticker price. It's about the opportunity cost of not having the tool. What is that saved time worth in innovation?
So we've surveyed the landscape of 2026. We've seen the shift from 36 to 70% adoption. We've looked at the cognitive bias problem, and we've toured the whole toolkit from muckup.ai to Ienza.
It's a comprehensive ecosystem. It's no longer about finding one tool to rule them all, but about finding the right stack for your team.
It really is. And if I'm synthesizing all this, the main takeaway seems to be that AI tools in 2026 have moved way beyond just cool features. They have become the infrastructure of work.
They have. They are essential for preserving a competitive advantage. You cannot compete at the speed of the market today using spreadsheets and gut feelings. If your competitor is using Linear and Forecast to predict delays and manage budgets, and you're using a whiteboard and optimism, you lose.
Whether it's wireframing a dashboard with a text prompt in mockup.ai and saving days of design back and forth, or predicting a budget overrun in Forecast before it happens, these tools allow humans to do something else.
They allow humans to focus on strategy rather than administration. That is the key shift.
And that leads me to my final thought for you, our listener, and I want you to really mull this over. If AI is handling the scheduling, if it's doing the forecasting, if it's detecting the risks, and with tools like Mockup, if it's even starting the design process.
I see where you were going with this.
What does the role of the project manager actually look like 5 years from now? Are we even managers anymore? Or are we moving toward being, I don't know, architects of work?
That is the ultimate question. When the machine handles the logistics, the human has to handle the purpose. The value shifts from how do we do this to why are we doing this?
Architects of work. I like the sound of that. It's a bit scary, but it's exciting. Listeners, thank you for joining us on this journey through the future of work.
It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this deep dive on data designed with Mockup. We will catch you in the next one. Keep innovating.